She was 5'5", weighed over 120 pounds. And somehow she escaped one of the most secure women's prisons in the US, inside a suitcase. No guards saw her leave. No cameras caught her exit. Just a trail of confusion, a panicked search, and one baffling question. Could she really have fit? This is the true story of Carmen DeLaVega, and the suitcase escape that shocked America. They called it impossible. Some said it was staged. Others claimed she had help from the inside, maybe even the warden. But all the prison records confirmed the same thing. On the morning of May 12, 2019, inmate Carmen DeLaVega, convicted arms trafficker and alleged cartel courier, vanished from Stone Ridge Correctional Facility. There were no alarms. No signs of forced exit. Only one clue, a black nylon suitcase. Abandoned in a prison laundry cart, rolled outside by a part-time yoga instructor turned prison volunteer. Carmen wasn't your average inmate. Born in Miami to Cuban immigrants, she spoke 5 languages, studied criminal psychology, and once interned at a senator's office. But by 27 she was on the FBI's watch list. A surveillance tape in Ecuador captured her at a luxury resort, just one day before a major arms deal went sideways. She disappeared again until her name resurfaced during a sting in Texas. In 2017 she was finally arrested after a high-speed chase through downtown Houston. Her charges? Possession of military-grade weapons, money laundering, suspicion of aiding a foreign cartel. But here's the thing. She never spoke during interrogation. Not one word. Just smiled. And when sentenced to 25 years at Stone Ridge, she said only this: "I'll leave when I'm ready." Stone Ridge Correctional was no ordinary prison. Situated in the Utah desert, it had infrared perimeter fencing, motion-triggered alarms, over 120 surveillance cameras. Carmen was assigned to Block E, the silent wing, housing high-risk inmates. But what few knew was that Carmen had made herself indispensable. She translated letters for guards, helped with medical triage, taught yoga to inmates, and slowly, she became invisible. That's when she met Valerie Knox, a bubbly 38-year-old part-time yoga teacher with a weakness for troubled souls and secrets of her own. On May 12, 2019, a fire alarm went off in the West Kitchen. It wasn't unusual. The kitchen ovens were notoriously faulty. But while guards scrambled to investigate the smoke, Valerie Knox was seen wheeling a large laundry cart toward the loading bay. Nothing suspicious. She did this every week. Except this time, the cart wobbled. It was heavier than usual. Security footage shows her struggling, wiping her brow, laughing nervously. And at precisely 10:41 a.m., she lifts a suitcase out of the cart, places it inside her car, and drives away. She returns exactly 37 minutes later. The suitcase? Gone. By 3:15 p.m., during inmate count, officers realize Carmen is missing. Panic spreads. They search her cell. Everything's there. Her toothbrush, her uniform, her journal. But a closer inspection of the laundry area reveals something odd. Broken zipper, long dark hairs, traces of skin oil on the suitcase's lining, and a scrap of black yoga mat, cut perfectly into a cushion for support. Could Carmen have really fit into that suitcase? Forensic expert Dr. Luis Harmon recreated the escape with a mannequin. His conclusion? The human body, under stress, can compress its joints. If trained, someone Carmen's size could fold into a fetal position and stay there for up to 45 minutes. But what about breathing? Inside the suitcase were small holes, disguised under patches, and a tube. A drinking straw embedded in the seam, allowing airflow from the cart's bottom. Ingenious or psychotic? By the next morning, the U.S. Marshals, the FBI, and Interpol had launched a joint task force. Valerie Knox was arrested at her apartment. Her excuse? I was used. I didn't know Carmen was in there. But texts tell a different story. A week prior, she messaged Carmen. Suitcase is strong enough. I tested it. You sure you want to do this? Valerie faces 15 years for aiding a prison escape. Carmen, still missing. Some say she fled to Belize. Others claim she was picked up by private jet just miles from the prison. But no one really knows. How did Carmen manage such a flawless escape? Was Valerie just a pawn, or something more? And what of the guards who conveniently failed to check the cart that day? One guard, who asked to remain anonymous, later said, "That cart was too heavy. We knew something was wrong. But someone told us to let it go." Who gave that order? And where is Carmen DeLaVega now? What bends, breathes, and breaks the law, all while zipped in silence? Could you survive 45 minutes in a suitcase? Do you think Carmen acted alone, or was this a bigger conspiracy? Drop your theories in the comments. Now let's dig in further to what transpired. She escaped a fortress-like prison. Inside a suitcase. Now whispers echo across state lines. A private plane. A cash drop in New Mexico. And a pilot who says, she never said a word, but she smiled the whole time. Who's protecting Carmen DeLaVega? And what comes next? You're about to find out. As the search for Carmen intensified, a task force was formed. Dubbed Operation Black Zipper, the joint team included the U.S. Marshals, Border Patrol, and FBI behavioral analysis. Their mission wasn't just to find Carmen, it was to understand her. Because escapes like this aren't improvised, they're orchestrated. Agent Dana Harrell led the behavioral unit. She ordered a full reconstruction of the 48 hours before and after Carmen's escape. What they uncovered was chilling in its precision. May 11, 2019 at 2:33 p.m. A visitor arrives at Stone Ridge posing as a legal aid. No real credentials. He meets with Carmen for 12 minutes. Leaves behind a manila folder. Inside that folder? Prison staff says it contained crossword puzzles. But under UV light, agents found GPS coordinates scribbled into the puzzle boxes. The GPS data pointed to a remote dirt airstrip near Shiprock, New Mexico, 200 miles from Stone Ridge. That's when authorities found a flight log from a regional pilot named Brent Mulholland. On May 12, he flew a single-passenger charter from Shiprock to a private field in Sonora, Mexico. He was paid in full, in unmarked cash, by someone using the name K. Linares. Interviewed under immunity, Mulholland said, "She was already at the strip when I landed, wearing all black. No bags, just sunglasses. She got in and nodded. Not one word, but she smiled." He identified Carmen from a photo instantly. Authorities then looked deeper into Valerie Knox, the yoga instructor arrested in episode 1. Turns out, she wasn't Carmen's only accomplice. Stone Ridge staff noticed a pattern of suspicious work trades weeks before the escape. Inmate 1127, Paula Graves, swapped dish duty for cart loading 4 days in a row. Inmate 1403, Rita Chin, claimed to have migraines and missed guard checks, only during Carmen's shower schedule. One inmate, who later flipped for immunity, confessed, "We were told not to ask. She paid us through commissary. Chips, instant coffee, meds. Said it was for a good cause." Carmen wasn't just planning an escape. She was manipulating an entire ecosystem. A week after the escape, gas station footage surfaced. Location, Chinle, Arizona, nearly 170 miles south of the prison. A woman in oversized sunglasses and a brown wig walked in. She bought water, energy bars, and a prepaid burner phone. Paid in cash. Facial recognition only gave an 87% match to Carmen. But here's what's strange. In the footage, she pauses, looks directly at the security camera, smirks, and holds up the drink bottle. Later, forensic analysts discovered the bottle was placed in the trash, but wrapped in a napkin. On the napkin, a lipstick mark, and a fingerprint. Carmen's. The airstrip itself was suspicious. It wasn't listed on FAA charts. Just a dirt road with cone lights, hidden behind a cattle ranch. But two things made agents uneasy. A weather balloon drone, left behind with a hacked GPS unit. It was modified to jam radio frequencies for exactly 2 minutes. The same 2 minutes Brent Mulholland's plane lost signal. A thermos, half buried behind a fuel drum. Inside, a small USB drive. Encrypted. FBI cyber hasn't cracked it yet. But insiders claim it's not personal files, it's schematics. Prison schematics. Guard Sean Kessler had worked at Stone Ridge for 12 years. He claimed he was off duty the morning of the escape, but when investigators reviewed his phone logs, they found a ping from inside the laundry tunnel at 10:39 a.m., just 2 minutes before Carmen was rolled out. When confronted, Kessler lawyered up. Later, his bank account showed a deposit of $4,000, made 2 days before the escape, from an account tied to a shell company called Dale Systems Ltd. That company? Registered in the Cayman Islands. And one of its previous signatories? Carmen DeLaVega. As the pieces come together, investigators begin to shift the theory. Carmen didn't just escape. She engineered a silent operation from inside a prison with maximum surveillance. She recruited outsiders, bribed guards, tampered with digital infrastructure, and covered her tracks with misdirection. But why? Former CIA handler Eric Savoy believes she was a deep asset. This wasn't about freedom. It was about retrieval. Someone wanted her out, and had the money to make it happen. But who? Carmen DeLaVega has been off the grid for over a year now. Some say she's running guns again in Venezuela. Others say she's living quietly in Croatia under a new face. But the biggest question remains. Who funded the Suitcase Escape? Was it cartel money? Or a government extraction? And if that USB drive really contains prison schematics, could this be just the beginning? It flies without wings, escapes without sound, and knows more than anyone inside. What is it? Could Carmen have escaped without inside help? Is this the work of a powerful underground network? Or are we looking at the first public glimpse of a secret war playing out behind prison walls? Drop your thoughts in the comments. And do not forget to hit the subscribe button as this mystery intensifies. 2 women, 1 face. In a smoky Las Vegas casino, facial recognition software pings a match. Carmen DeLaVega. But when agents surround her, the woman insists, "I don't know who that is. Her prints don't match. Her passport is clean. So, who is she? And how many versions of Carmen are out there?" After 2 months of dead ends, Operation Black Zipper gets its first hot lead. Location: the Astoria Grand, an exclusive Las Vegas hotel casino. A woman resembling Carmen DeLaVega was seen at a high-stakes poker table. Same posture, same smile, same scar under the right eye. She called herself Diana Valles. But within 72 hours, authorities would discover a new layer to this story. One built on deception, danger, and a double. On August 3rd, casino security flagged a suspicious ID. Diana Valles had checked in using a Dominican passport, recently issued, with no travel history. A digital scan of her face triggered an alert from Interpol's stolen identity database. Facial recognition gave her a 92.4% match to Carmen DeLaVega. Agents from the Las Vegas Marshal's office moved in. But the moment they confronted her, the tension skyrocketed. "You've got the wrong woman," she said calmly. "I'm not who you think I am." Her voice, nearly identical to Carmen's. Her fingerprints? A mismatch. The FBI ordered a rapid DNA analysis. Results inconclusive. Her markers were close, too close. Investigators now considered 3 possibilities. This woman was Carmen's sister. She was Carmen, after cosmetic alteration. She was a body double, trained to act and respond like the real Carmen. But there was a 4th, even more disturbing possibility. What if she volunteered to be Carmen? Why would someone willingly assume the identity of a wanted fugitive? Back at HQ, agents struggled to untangle a growing knot of identities, shell companies, burner phones, and accounts all tied loosely to the name K. Linares, Carmen's known alias. Valerie Knox, Carmen's prison contact, refused further cooperation after being attacked in her cell. Sean Kessler, the guard suspected of helping her escape, vanished from witness protection 2 weeks ago. The USB drive from the desert airstrip was wiped clean by a military-grade data bomb. It was as if someone, or some agency, was erasing every trace of Carmen DeLaVega. After 11 hours of intense questioning, the woman calling herself Diana Valles finally broke. Not by screaming, not by confessing. She sang, softly, in Spanish. A lullaby. La que escapa no corre. La que se esconde no teme. She who escapes does not run. She who hides does not fear. When agents pressed harder, she leaned in and whispered, "I was told she would come for me." Who told her? She refused to say, but slid a matchbox across the table. It was from the Saint Hotel in Cartagena, Colombia. Inside was a SIM card. Data analysis revealed it was last activated 17 days ago. From inside the U.S. Embassy compound in Bogota, the embassy denied any involvement. But a leaked cable revealed something alarming. A diplomatic vehicle registered to the Bogota post had entered Cartagena that same week, escorted by a local cartel motorcade. The driver? Name classified. But facial scans later identified him as a former U.S. asset linked to off-the-books intelligence operations. Carmen, it seemed, wasn't just running. She was being guided. Inside Operation Black Zipper, morale plummeted. Files went missing. Flights were canceled last minute. Agents were reassigned, sometimes without warning. Someone was stonewalling the investigation. "You don't understand," one field agent whispered off record. Carmen wasn't just escaping prison. She was escaping something bigger. The idea of state-sponsored extraction gained traction. But that posed a terrifying obstacle. If Carmen had protection from within the intelligence community, could she ever be caught? To understand Carmen, analysts built a psychological profile. She never formed personal attachments. She spoke in patterns. She used mirroring tactics, repeating phrases of her interrogators back to them. These were traits often found in deep cover operatives. But one former handler under anonymity said this: "You don't recruit someone like Carmen. You build her." Was she part of a rogue experiment? And if she was engineered for deep infiltration, what mission was she running when she let herself get caught in 2017? The woman in Las Vegas calling herself Diana Valles was released within 72 hours. No charges. She boarded a private shuttle to LAX and disappeared. 2 weeks later, a reporter found her passport floating in the Colorado River. Empty. Just a note inside: "I am not who you think I am." So the question remains: was she the decoy? Or the next Carmen? What has many faces, no past, and disappears when named? Would you trust a face that doesn't match fingerprints? Do you think Carmen built a web of doubles? Or was she built into one herself? What's the truth behind the Bogota connection? Subscribe, turn on notifications, and don't miss how it all ends. 4 months after Carmen's escape, the heat had faded. News outlets moved on. Authorities reclassified her file as fugitive, low probability of capture. But then, something surfaced. A woman named Celeste Marin, a former inmate, stepped forward with a chilling confession. "I saw her walk out, but she didn't walk alone." Celeste had served 5 years at Stone Ridge for bank fraud. Diagnosed with borderline psychosis, she'd spent 12 months in the off-grid mental health wing of the prison, a block known internally as Ward 6. The public didn't know Ward 6 existed. Celeste described it as silent, underground, where inmates were isolated and the guards didn't wear uniforms. One night, she claims, around 2 a.m., she heard movement in the air duct above her room. "I saw boots drop down. 2 people. One of them was her, Carmen. And a second figure, taller, broader, male, wearing what looked like military-grade body armor." Celeste remembers him turning to Carmen and saying, "We only do this once." Celeste's account prompted a hidden audit. Inside the warden's archive drive was a locked folder titled Project INK, Deep Custody. After 2 weeks of pressure and a federal court order, it was decrypted. The contents? Footage from the Ward 6 hallway dated May 12th. A blueprint showing unauthorized ventilation shafts. And a signed memo from a contractor. Vent tunnels complete. Transfer protocols followed per INK directive. But there was no name on the directive. Just a stamp, Client 509. Using geolocation data from the USB wiped in Episode 2, agents traced a second unknown facility. White Hollow Correctional Wellness Center, outside Flagstaff, Arizona. Officially, it was a state-funded psych unit for female inmates. But surveillance and staffing patterns didn't match. There were no patient photos, no entry logs, no release records. A Freedom of Information Act request was denied on grounds of national security. But a leak revealed something stunning. One of the facility's registered aliases was 509S Healthcare Trust. The same stamp from Carmen's escape file. Experts began connecting the pieces. What if Stone Ridge wasn't Carmen's prison, but her holding cell? A halfway house between intelligence work and disposal? Carmen was fluent in multiple languages, had contacts across continents. Her behavioral traits mirrored those of undercover agents trained in nonverbal operations. She was burned, said a former operative under anonymity. They don't kill burned assets. They bury them in plain sight. That's why she wasn't rescued with a helicopter, or busted out with gunfire. She was retrieved, surgically, quietly, and those who helped her, each one paid or disappeared. 2 weeks ago, a podcaster researching the case received a strange audio file from an anonymous burner email. 16 seconds long. Static. Carmen's voice. They never looked in the dark. And that's where the truth lives. I was never missing. I just stopped pretending. Background noise analysis placed the recording somewhere near ocean water. Possibly Lisbon. Carmen is alive. And she's watching. So what did we really learn from the Carmen DeLaVega case? That a woman can outwit an entire system? Or that systems don't work the way we think they do? We learned, escape isn't always physical. Silence can be more powerful than screams. And people vanish not because they run, but because they're allowed to disappear. This wasn't just a prison break. It was a story about control, secrets, and shadows. And how some doors don't need keys, just clearance. From a zipped suitcase, to a vanished face in Vegas, to a voice echoing from a dark sea. Carmen DeLaVega rewrote the rules. Maybe she was a criminal. Maybe she was a ghost of the state. Or maybe she was exactly what they said she wasn't. Free. What's invisible in daylight, loud in silence, and leaves behind no trail but a question? What does Carmen's story really say about us? About the way we believe what we see? About how we trust authority? Or how easily the truth can be zipped shut? Drop your final theories below and tell us, if Carmen's watching, what would you say to her? Drop your comments below and do not forget to hit the subscribe buttons as we reveal more cases like this, and stay tuned for our next mystery.